welcome back. My name is Joseph Anderson, and this is RM University's 90-day Jumpstart program. Today is day 12, and we're going to be talking about habits. Now, I want you to think back to the time that you were on your mission, and what type of habits that you had. There were probably companions that you had that had more successful habits than others. And as a result, you probably either had more success or less success. And success isn't always necessarily just baptisms. I know there's some countries where you went to that even one single baptism in 2 years was crazy. But I want you to think back to the habits that you created. You had a habit of studying your scriptures on a daily basis. You had a habit of praying on a daily basis. You had a habit of teaching the gospel on a daily basis. What are your habits now? If you just barely got home, it's an excellent time to create new habits, which definitely should include praying and studying the scriptures, going to the temple and working and dating. However, what other habits do you want to create? Well, that depends. It kind of goes back to Alice in Wonderland when she's talking to the Cheshire Cat, and she says, "Where do I go? What habits do I create?" And he says, "Well, that all depends where you want to end up." So we've talked about where you want to end up. So now take that, where you want to end up, and now say, well, what's it going to take for me to get there? Because you don't just decide one day to become a rocket scientist. You don't decide just one day to play professional football. You don't decide just one day to be a spiritual giant. Well, and I take that back. You do decide one day, but it takes a lifetime of dedication to do each one of those things. Now, at the same time, with a football player, what are they going to do on a consistent basis? Well, they're going to exercise. They're going to strength train. They're going to practice. They're going to work on their mental edge. They're going to study their playbook. They're going to review game film. There's countless habits that they're going to create. So what are the habits that you need to create right now in order to get where you really want to be? What are the other habits in your life? When you left for a mission, a lot of people say when people come back, they revert back to their old self. But you don't have to. Especially if you're watching this 12 days after your mission, which I hope is the case, you don't have to revert to who you were. Just like the scripture in Isaiah says, that sins as scarlet can be white as snow, and your past habits, they can be overcome by your new habits. But habits, they're never just gotten rid of. They're replaced. So for example, if somebody has a habit where, let's say they smoke cigarettes all the time. Now I know many of you don't struggle with that, but just using the example, if they replace it and they say, well, you guys might have dealt with this on your mission. You might have told an investigator, hey, anytime you think about smoking a cigarette, I want you to pick up the Book of Mormon and start reading. So what are they doing? They're replacing an old habit with a new habit. So what are the new habits that you must create in order to be successful in your life? What are the new beliefs that you need to create? Because beliefs actually have a lot to do with habits. If you believe that studying the scriptures is as important as eating and drinking that day, then chances are you're going to study the scriptures. But if you don't, the odds are you're not. What are the habits that you need to create? No, also think about it the other way. If you go down the road currently and regain all of your negative habits, where will your life be a year from today? You see, people don't just go off the path. It's a gradual process, the same way it is to get on the path. By small and simple things are great things brought to pass, but also by small and simple things are terrible things brought to pass. It totally just depends on where you're at. But I want you to think about the one single habit that you want to create over the next week. And I want to challenge you to do that. Like I said, maybe it's studying the scriptures. Maybe it's learning a musical instrument. Maybe it's exercising. Maybe it's attending the temple once a week, or however regularly you feel is best for you. There are so many different habits that you can create, but you have to remember, as President Monson says, your choices determine your destiny. So if you choose to slack off and not study every single day, then you're not going to come to the end of the school year and be very happy. But if you choose to live a balanced, happy life, and you choose to decide right now what habits you want to create, you'll come to the end of your school year or your life, whatever it may be, and you'll be able to look back and say, I was able to accomplish all the things that I wanted to. Elder M. Russell Ballard has a quote that says something to the extent of, if we don't learn how to master the principles of setting goals and essentially creating the habits to obtain those goals, we're going to realize that we missed out on so much. So I want to encourage you to do that this week. And also ask yourself right now, if I start today to create powerful, amazing habits, where will my life be in the future? And I encourage you to do that today. Thank you so much for joining us for day 12 of RM University's 90-day program. Once again, my name is Joseph Anderson. You guys have an awesome day.